The name of this webinar is Methods for Enriching Data via Social Media API. So we would like to find out technically, because we have like a huge experience now working via API integration and having different projects that we have in social links, how you can use, let's say, raw data from our side to enrich and to support your any internal systems. I will highlight it a bit later, but what I have after like really like 1,000 calls with my customers, with our potential customers and current customers and company. After 1,000 calls, we have a huge expertise and huge experience of what you guys can do with Social Links API, how we can move forward with that. So as I told you, just brief agenda for you to understand what we're going to discuss today. So first, again, for those who maybe don't know us, I will just give you a small introduction about the company, about the products that we have, and what's specific about the API. Then I would like to highlight different use cases because from my perspective, it's a bit more easy to understand, like when you are using a ready-to-go solution. Well, it's pretty easy, right? You get a case, you need to, let's say, find out some target, and you're using it like we are doing in Crime Wall or our Dawn Social Links Pro. With API, it's a bit more complex case because it's not just about use cases that your platform or your internal solution is covering. It's a complex thing, how you can monetize it, or for example, how you can enrich the data for your reports, for your customers, for your colleagues, maybe, right? So I would like to highlight these use cases. Then I will shortly would like to show the API integrations as how it's working. I mean, it will be a bit, this technical side, but I want to highlight because if someone joined with a technical background, I want you to see what we have from the documentation perspective, how it's working, and yeah. And in general, for Social Links demonstration, I prepared the case, and I would like to show you what we can do from the perspective of automation the process. Because the raw data is pretty good, but what I see on the market, that the request is a bit different at the moment, right? So let's say 5 years ago, it was just about the data. Now, and I suppose you agree with me that you need to make it really, really fast. You need to speed up some common and daily tasks, right? And if you have a target, you can just really automate the process to explore all connections, let's say with a mail address, a phone number, or alias, or whatever you have as an input. And I'm going to show you how we are doing it. Then, as I promised, there will be Q&A session. And so, yeah, please feel free to write your questions in the special form. I will highlight it. And again, as I said, there will be a special thing that we prepared for our attendance that's related to API, and I will highlight it a bit later. So, yeah, about social links. Again, I'm sure some of our attendees know already about us, but in general, so Social Links is provider. There's a company that provides the open data. At the moment, we have, I suppose, more than 80 countries in our portfolio and more than 500 customers. And the thing is, and why I'm so sure that our capabilities will be relevant to you, is that we have customers from really, really different parts of the world and parts from the perspective of use cases. So we are working successfully with government organizations, with police departments, law enforcement agencies, as well as with commercial companies who are doing, I don't know, due diligence, background checks, HRs that would like to make the hiring process more detailed, more safe. And yeah, that's why I suppose experience of my team and my personal experience will help us to move forward, to exchange our experience, and yeah, to find out what exactly you can use from social links. Because as I mentioned, at the moment we have several solutions. So we launched our social links crime wall. This is all in one and ready to go, the full cycle analytical platform. When you have just elements, you can use methods, you can see the graphs of this visualization platform. Also, we have still, and historically, and we still have the Social Links Pro. This is our add-on for Maltiga, and I'm going to show you some case what we can do from the perspective of automations, machines, what it calls in Maltiga. And yeah, the main protocol we're going to discuss today is Social Links API. So that means like every source and every methods what we are providing via Crime Wall or via Social Links Pro, you can use as a raw data via JSON format and through API integration. So that means that if you already have some platform or internal solution, so you can just use our capabilities, really easy to integrate, easy to use, and the model of communication is pretty clear because every method is really well described. Every method is pretty clear to use, and I'm going to show you the documentation. You can take a look. Yeah, so regarding the API, yeah, what I would like to share from the basic perspective, how it works and what does it mean. So as I mentioned, we are covering, I would say, all possible social media, let's say messengers. We have a really interesting and from my perspective and from our customers' feedback, really relevant and unique darknet capabilities. So everything from that side, you can integrate via API to your platform. So that means that we are providing real-time data. This is really important to highlight because I suppose this is like the most common question that I've been asked, like what kind of data do you have? Is it stored anywhere, or is it hashed, or how you updating this data? So this is the main point. We are doing this in a real time from, let's say, more than 500 data sources. We have huge amount of methods, and everything is going real time. That means that you can get the relevant data straight to your platform without like any additional integration. So, and that was also, I suppose that was the main, let's say, headache of our customers, of those who came to us, that you need to keep in mind and you need to integrate a lot of different separate APIs from different sources, mostly with different logic, mostly with separate API keys, and you need to aggregate it somehow as one product, right, on your side. And well, this is what we are doing. As I can see, this is a really helpful part because now it's like it's not your responsibility, it's on us. So we are checking that all methods and all sources are available. We are matching all potential fields, and we are preparing this data. We are pretty clear. Mostly, it's used via JSON format. And yeah, this is our main responsibility, and we're gonna help you to aggregate really different and separate parts of all social media, messengers, corporate databases, dark web leaked data, and in one, let's say, window, in one key, and you can just easy integrate it to your solution. About the sources, yeah, so I highlighted several, and again, I can just share with you this this demo recording. You can take a look at it in more detail, but in general, all major social media, you can see the list here. Messengers, corporate databases, and darknet. It really helps to see, I would say, the holistic picture about anything you're looking for, right? The most common case is that you have really limited piece of data, let's say an email address or phone number, right? And you would like to see all possible connections. Social media, is there any like sanctions lists could be matched to your target? any potential connections with corporate databases all over the world, because as you can see, we are covering Companies House, Open Corporates, OCCRP list in general. So you will see really, really huge intersections, and it goes really, really fast, because you don't need to have separate solutions. You don't need to integrate different and separate sources. It will be just one API key, and you have access to all data. Again, I'm highlighting it again because this is one of the most common questions. So let's say if we have an API key from social links, do we need to buy or switch on some separate models if you would like to socials, then messengers, then darknet? So technically, this is, let's say, one key, and you have access to all data that we are providing. So just to highlight, again, if it's clear, feel free to send your questions to the chat, but I suppose it's like pretty clear at the moment. So from the darknet, I really would like to highlight it because what I see, and based on, let's say, my investigations, what I'm leading from my customers' feedback, that sometimes, okay, you check everything into the clear web, you see like social media, but you would like to find out something what could make a pivot of your investigation. So, and that means that this leaked data could be really helpful. Again, it doesn't matter what kind of cases do you have. So let's say, again, it could be from criminal investigation to a hiring process from HR. We are living in the moment, and we are living in the world. I know we need to say that, right? That every piece of data is relevant. Every information you're looking for could really, well, change the perspective, right? And that means what I've seen, for example, from darknet leak data, it could be other email addresses that are connected to the input that you have. So that means that you may not recognize it, right? And you can go further, you can go deeper with this part of investigation. Let's say your target didn't mention this connection of this email address, of phone number, of physical address. And well, sometimes I found out some like more sensitive information there. So that means, because maybe some customers, I think, like, okay, this darknet, it should be just about selling inappropriate things. But we see that these data leaked records could really help in any investigations. Everything what you have could be really enriched with this part. So I just again recommend you to take a look at this and try and to see if in your case this is really game changer. Yeah, I have some question from Elio. Will this presentation be shared with us? Yeah, I suppose I can share the presentation, and I can share the webinar recording. So yeah, just in case, you can take a look at the list of sources we are covering, share with your team. So yeah, absolutely okay. And Reginald, thanks a lot for your feedback. So Reginald said that likes the presentation. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we can move forward. This is what I mentioned about the cases. Again, what we face after almost 10 years on the market, that the data that we are providing could be used in a really, really wide range of cases. So as I mentioned, from the government and law enforcement agencies perspective, they could be used for background checks and digital forensic for criminal investigations, because sometimes on our customer side, there is already the platform or any solution that just be needed to be enriched by other social media profiles, or the issue with the real-time data, because again, different sources have different API keys, they change policies of using, they change the integration process and everything. So the main point is that the process could be really time and resource consuming. So that means, like, if you have something on your side from the perspective of any platform for investigation or any solution, you can just easily integrate the real-time data. From the corporate security, again, what I mentioned with the staff background checks and for the hiring process, it's a huge, huge point at the moment. One of the most common use cases is to find out what people are saying in social media, because we have, let's say, that will be the first level. We will find out all social media profiles, which is, if you think about, pretty challenging if you have separate sources. Then we can explore posts from, again, every social media. And then we integrated with some AI model that will understand the sentiment and topics and a summary. So that means you can understand on a basic level, like positive, negative, and neutral text. Then you can get the topics. So this text is about, let's say, weather, vacation, family, or maybe some inappropriate things for your company, right? And what could be most, from my side, the most efficient is you get a summary. So one, maximum 2 sentences, what this post is about. And that means that you can do it really brief and understand, like, at least based on the social media representatives, are you able to hire this person? Is it something that could fit your company code? And yeah, in general. From the cybersecurity perspective, again, really, really interesting thing. What I'm mostly showing for my customers during the demo. Really basic thing. I put the domain of your company, and I can see all the email addresses that I connected from the perspective of leak records. And sometimes it could be, again, pretty sensitive results that someone is using working email address in some inappropriate websites and the information was leaked. And that means that we can find out, well, name, last name, physical address, phone number, some personal data, and the websites that the person was visiting, right? And that means that you can find out the way how to protect your company, how to protect your colleagues. I see, and I'm working with a lot of journalists that are using this information to protect themselves. So again, as you can see, the use cases could be really different. And my idea is, let's say, the most common case, how we're discussing it, we are scheduled in the brief call, let's say 20, 30 minutes, you can share your inputs, what challenges you're facing, or for example, what kind of issues you think could be important for your company at the moment, and like if or how Social Links API could help you with this. Please let me know. Again, feel free to ask any questions regarding the cases, or maybe you can share some cases, I mean, in general, in the chat, definitely without any details. And maybe during the Q&A session, I can like advise or highlight, if we have this solution for Social Links API, what could be the workflow, what kind of sources you can use, etc. So really just feel free, and that will make our Q&A session really helpful, I suppose, and important for you to know, at least on the basic level. Yeah, so then what I wanted to discuss, and this kind of could be the Q&A session, what I mentioned before. What do we have? So as you can see, and we prepared it from the perspective of again, thousands of calls that we had with our customers. What could be your solution? What you are working with? So from let's say e-commerce platforms, when you would like to check like any potential risks for your website, for your companies, for your colleagues, to fintech startups. This is a really huge growing part at the moment, because due diligence process, from any perspective, from find out who is behind the startup, who would like to work with us, from the investment perspective, can we trust this company or this person? You can really briefly find out all potential social media accounts, especially there could be a good sign, it's kind of a win-win situation. So if you couldn't find anything, any social media, any LinkedIn profile, I mean, with all the respect, mostly startups are like showing them, right? And the CEO of the startups or the new companies, they're saying, hey, I'm the leader of this company. We're working with this and that. But if you couldn't find anything, I'm not saying that it could be a red flag, but at least this is information you can work with. So if there is nothing about the person in social media in 2024, well, that could be an issue, right? So that means like from every possible cases and from every possible perspective of what you have on your site, at least we can try to find out the solution. We have experience with our team and how to make the investigations really efficient, how to make it faster, and how to go like really deep in your investigation. Because at the end of the day, it's well, it's a question of safety, which is more important, I suppose, and also this is a matter of money, right? So what could be the most common case if you have a platform, if you have your own solution, and you would like to make it better, right? You can find out, and a lot of customers are doing it at the moment. Somehow this monetization system, because what I suggest uh, is finding the good the good workflow from different levels. What I mean, for some cases, you just really need to check that this person exists, that it's kind of there are some social media profiles, and mostly, and it was really a surprise for me, let's say a couple of years ago when I started this process, this is okay. Because my idea is that like, yeah, you always need to go deeper. You need to find out all the posts, likes, comments, friends, followers. But the reality is, for some cases, you really need this, let's say, A level. So that means that you can use API to check all possible connections with, let's say, mail address or phone number, or alias, whatever you have as inputs. And we're giving you this data, and that will be enough for your customers, right? And that could be additionally, let's say, X dollars to your subscription or to your pricing model, right? Then you can say, okay, it's not the only what we can do. We can go deeper. And mostly the next level is something about getting posts, friends, followers, details, locations, which I will highlight how we are doing this, because you would like to get a bit more data. Again, maybe your customers and your end users would like to get a bit more data about the target. So that means that this, let's say, level B could be with the pricing Y. Because like we are speaking about the social links API mostly if it's commercial sector as an investment, right? So you just enriching the data, you got a provider that aggregates all potential social media and all the sources, and you would like to, well, implement it your product and make it more interesting for your end users, right? That means that this monetization system we can discuss. Again, I can share some of my experience. We have this calculator that helps you to find out, okay, if you are, let's say, putting X dollars for social links API, what could be the effect, what could be the ROI of implementing of this solution. And yeah, so coming back to these levels, there is a, let's say, the deep level, let's say called the C level. So we found out all social media profiles, corporate databases, sanctions lists, friends, followers, locations. We can check the leaked data, and then we can find out what kind of, what I mentioned with the posts. So sentiment analysis, summary, and topics. So that means you just create well, some opportunity for your customers to choose how deep they need to go with the investigations. You can manage it. You can manage it via API. You can manage it from the visualization perspective. So how to show the data to your customers, etc. But the main idea behind is, yeah, it's pretty manageable. It's customized. So yeah, you can use it how you feel it. Please, yeah, again, let me know if you have any questions, ideas, concerns about the use cases. Again, feel free to share maybe some challenges that you are facing. I would love to discuss it and to highlight. Yeah, because my idea was to show some case with our add-on Social Links Pro, because again, I keep in mind that some of them maybe already using social links or heard about us, but at the same time, I would like to show you what we've implemented with our Center of Excellence team from the perspective of automation, because I will repeat it again because for me it's really crucial how the market and how the requests are changing. That nowadays we're speaking not just about the data, we're speaking about how to speed up the process, how to automate it, how to calculate the ROI, and let's say and use in a good way the human resources in a more efficient way. So not to put a lot of time and power to extract the data. It's mostly about how to analyze the data, what could be behind the data that you get. So this is like really, really important at the moment from all of the use cases. So yeah, feel free to share your thoughts, ideas, concerns. I will share my screen with our Done for Social Links Pro. And yeah, we can move forward with the case. Again, I suppose you can see the screen, and I would appreciate if you just text me into the chat that you can see Maltiga environment at the moment. Okay, thanks a lot, Ndazai. Yeah, Elio, thank you. So yeah, a really quick intro. So what I would like to share with you, as I mentioned, historically we were and we still as an add-on for Maltiga. That means that, let's say, if someone again historically is using Maltiga, you can use our Social Links Pro add-on. But the main thing what I wanted to share with you at the moment is how we can automate the process. And this is what we prepared with our Center of Excellence team, how to use all our 500 sources and all our methods, how to make it more focusing on your targets and on your task. So what we've done in Maltiga, there is kind of an entity machines. So that means that you can automate the process with the different inputs. So for example, as you can see from the social links, we prepared separate, and the same we prepared via API. That means that you can really speed up the process of any investigation. What I need to do here is just to click on machines. So that means that now we'll see all possible results. And we have, again, it's a separate solution, but for me, it's much easier for you to show how it's working. So that means I don't need to click manually on any method or manually use separate methods, separate endpoints via API. Behind these machines, there's a script, there is a workflow with a pretty simple logic. Let's say if then. So we are checking email address. If there is a Skype account, then export the image, export the name. I'm using the example of my colleague. So Sonia, thank you so much for your assistance somewhere here. And as you can see, yeah, again, this is an example of visualization, but the logic behind, if we find out the Google ID profile, then give me the picture, then give me all Google reviews. And this is information you can work with on your platform. Several comments on that side. So first, as you can see, we found out already, like we spent, I don't know, less than a minute. We found out several social media. I found out the LinkedIn profile of Sonia. I get the Google ID, and I limited the number of results. Like we have 12 results here. There will be more, but just for the demo perspective. And that means that we can see all, for example, reviews that my colleagues mentioned as a Google user. You can see places, you can see time, you can see exact location, you can see the name, address of this place, etc. In some cases, if it's not just a rate 1 or 5 stars. You can see the text, and it really helps to understand what is behind the target, what is behind the person you are looking for, because the way he or she texts, what kind of information he or she mentioned. For example, I faced the case when I needed to find out some target, and he mentions in several points like, this is my favorite place in Curitiba in Brazil. And if I put on the map, I see like exact points on the map. So I see the area where he potentially visits like more and more places. So this is how crucial, again, to have all sources in one window, in one key. I have a question here from Elio. What about gathering a full history of an account on any platforms? In that case, I got the question. So what I mentioned before, we're not able to keep the data. We are not able to store the data. So each time you are seeing the real-time requests, and that means that, for example, if I found out the LinkedIn profile, and if I will extract all the posts, I will see all the posts of this profile. So I would not call it, let's say, history. You will see the full account. And well, that means that you can work with the very first post if it's open, right? If account is open, you can extract this. And yeah, that could help you to enrich your investigation. Yeah. So yeah, I have a question from Ivan. Are you able to reach the Wayback Machine for archive? And have you tried common crawl integration? It's a good question, Evan, to be honest. Thanks for this. We faced this request. Like, I personally faced this request several times. I would like to check with my product team if it's available, because yeah, I feel this is really relevant point from the perspective of historical data. If maybe you can share the use case, like in what exact cases this Wayback Machine could help you, that would be interesting, to be honest, because this is a tricky one with the sources, right? Like, it's good to have it, but the first question when you get from the product team, like, why? And it's pretty reasonable question. So again, I face this request, and I would be really interested if you can share some use cases, how it helps you already if you face it and if you're using your investigations. So yeah, and what I would like to share with you from the perspective of, in general, social links capabilities, this is the level A, what I mentioned, right? Okay, we find out the social media profiles, we got some Google reviews, we can move forward. So for example, and again, everything will be available via API integration. So I can get the LinkedIn profile as an input, and I can use, let's say, facial assertion by face and name. So we will recognize the face on the photo, and because we have face and name, so let's say two parents, we'll give you the probability that we find out the person, well, you are looking for. So this is the probability, like 73%, which is pretty high. And because I know this is Sonia's profile, and yeah. Another point could be, let's say, Twitter profile. I would like to see if she has Twitter. So I can use this method. For API, it will be the same name, search by face and name Twitter. And the result will be the same. We'll give it the probability. If we found some profile, it will be here. So this is how we can enrich so-called basic level A. And as you can see, we find out two profiles, what we were looking for. This is Facebook and Twitter. And that means that we can go a bit deeper. So from LinkedIn, I can get, let's say, posts. And you can see the name in Maldiga, it calls methods. In API call, there will be endpoints that you can get details, endorses, post commented on, post live, if we need to go really, really deep with our investigation. And as an example here, I can just take one post. You can select all the posts via API, and I can use the text sentiments, summary, and topics. So that means that, as I mentioned, I will receive basic level. Is it like positive, negative, and neutral? I will receive some discussion here. So what is that? Is this meeting with a product manager, and some discussions. So this is how you can manage the whole workflow. So first you can automate the process every step. So every step what I showed you could be really automated. We prepared the document I'm going to share with you a bit later. So if I have a mail address, how I can enrich and how I can get to this exact point, extracting the, let's say, posts from all social media profiles and analyzing the sentiment analysis of every post, right? Because again, the use cases, what you are facing could be different. Information you're looking for could be different. And yeah, that means that you can configure it and customize it. So yeah, this is the case that I wanted to show. Again, this is, let's say, 10% of what we can do. But my idea was to show you how to make the process really like smooth and easy from one point. And then we can just jump to documentation and this PDF document that we prepared with our Center of Excellence team. And yeah, while I'm sharing the screen, feel free to send some messages to the chat, questions, concerns regarding what you've seen. Yeah, and I have several more questions here. Let me read it. So Elio said, I'm in here. I do see an account with the username, but I'm wondering here, how can I learn if it's fake or he is pretending someone profile, while he or she actually just changed the info or username? Okay, now I got a point, and now I got why you're asking about the kind of a historical data. So from this perspective, if you see some username, so you can use the alias, right? And you can extract all social media profiles related to this alias. Then you can use the Darknet leaks records, because yeah, technically it's what we are providing via our partner, and you can see any changes. So let's say if this email address was connected to alias A or to alias B. And that means, so now I got your point in answering this question, you can really see the full picture. So let's say this historical picture, because the leak data that we are providing via our partners could be really like way back. So let's say a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, he or she really used this email address and this alias. Or mostly, again, what I faced, this email address was linked to this exact Facebook ID. So this information and this workflow could help you to understand if the profile you're looking for or the profile you see at the moment, if it's if it belongs to the exact person you have, and if it's connected to any inputs you have, to this email address, or to this phone number, etc. So that's why I highlighted these darknet capabilities, because it's really helpful to understand your case exactly, Elio, what you mentioned. So yeah, if they change info or username based on the leaked data, you can see these changes, and you can see the holistic picture regarding this profile. Yeah, thanks, Elio, for your comment. Again, from Ivan, is it possible to consolidate the gathered information about the entity and query it with LLM, or let it summarize in particular format as a document? Yeah, this is the point, because mostly how it's working, we're preparing this workflow for you from the COE team. Again, I will show you and you will understand what I mean, because for every input and for every case, we will customize this workflow. So that means that all the queries, all the endpoints you're going to use from our side, you will send, and you get some data. How to aggregate it, and in some document, it's mostly depending on what you have on your side, right? If you have some, let's say, analytical platform like Power BI or something like this, you mostly have a dashboard, or there is a way to visualize. If not, we're going to help you how to create this kind of an easy to read format of reports based on the information you found out. So because we had this experience already, we have a really good reporting system in CrimeVault, and that means that what you find out, we're going to show you how to make as a report and how to aggregate and consolidate all the information you found out on your side. So yeah, definitely we need some inputs from your side, from the technical team. What is it? In what format? What kind of cases? But yeah, during the, let's say, our conversation, yeah, we're gonna help you how to do this. Because mostly this is the main point, right? You are not just exploring the data for exploring the data. You need to prepare some reports. There should be some visual result of your work. And this is what we're going to help you. Yeah, it's a bit more technical sides. Again, if you're interested, we can just schedule a call. I will highlight it a bit more detail. But answering shortly, yes, we're going to help you with that. So, yeah, I don't see any other questions here. What I wanted to highlight, again, I promise that it will be a bit this technical side, but I'm sure that I need to show again, if you have the technical background. So if you feel that you have time and it would be interesting to explore the capabilities of Social Links API, this is what we are showing and what we are sharing with our potential customers. This is the documentation. So what I showed you in the case with Social Links Pro, the same is working here. So from my perspective and from the perspective of my customers, what I hear as a feedback, so the documentation is pretty clear because all endpoints and all information you're looking for from the basic things what we discussed today, let's say A level, we can get profile. So what you need to do is a pretty easy description of example of request, and this is the example of response. What could it be? So mostly it's like with this JSON format, how it's working. So the main idea here is on your side to find out how to match these fields, what we have as a result, and yeah, how to visualize and how to consolidate it on your side. And you can play around with that. I mean, you can send this request. So yeah, we'll send it live. Again, I use my colleague email address, and you can change the view here. So let's say to JSON, and yeah, again, everything what I showed you in a real time in a live, it's happening here. We got exact ID, name, first name, last name, description. If any additional information is here, you can see it. So this is how it works. And in general, what we need to do, as I said, is to prepare the workflow for you. Let me know, please, again, if it's clear, if any questions, ideas regarding documentation. Again, I know it's a bit more technical side, but I'm sure there are some attendees with a technical background, and yeah, it makes sense for me to show. Because what we prepared with our Center of Excellence team as an example, and if you think after this webinar, this is something that could be interesting for you to try and to implement to your system, we prepared this. So this is one of the, let's say, 10 scenarios that we have at the moment for different inputs. So if you have an email address, we prepared, let's say, the same machines, the same logic what I show you during the case, how to use it via API. So this is a description, and you can see all sources, let's say from Skype, LinkedIn, Google account, some breached data. So how to create the same, let's say, machines on your side. So you'll see from the dark web, from the social media perspective, some alternative sources that maybe you're not thinking about to cover and explore, but they could give you really sensitive and helpful data. Let's say Foursquare, or who's using Foursquare at the moment, maybe, or maybe you use it and you forget about it. But we can give you the name, last name, and the photo, which we can use for facial recognition, what I showed you, and it could be really good pivot for your investigation. So yeah, this is, and again, this is just an example. It's really customized because based on your cases, based on your inputs, what you have, we will prepare the same. And it means that what I showed you via documentation, you will not you will not be lost on how to use it. this is the main point. What we figure out after like working on this project of these years, that's again, I told you the raw data is good, but there should be the way, and there is a way how to use it properly, how to use it in a more efficient way. And I really appreciate assistance of our Center of Excellence team. Well, the team has a huge experience in a lot of cases, again, from criminal investigations, what maybe you've seen in our webinars, collaborating with police departments to background checks financial fraud cases. So that means that from your side, we need kind of a description of the case, what is the most challenging and what is the most common things and issues you are facing. And from our side, we will prepare something like this. So how to enrich, let's say, an email address or phone number or alias via API. So yeah, I suppose that from my side, this is what I wanted to share with you. Yeah, because the idea was to give you some really intro about the social links API, how it's working. Yeah, I wanted to show you the case and how we can automate the process in general. And from the documentation perspective, again, at least you can see how it's working, to the main thing, how you can implement it to your platform. So now we have several minutes to Q&A session. So if you still have some questions, ideas, concerns, comments, just feel free to send to the chat or to a special Q&A form. And yeah, so as I told you, I would be happy to share this documentation with you. So just send us the email address. I will put my contacts here. So short message or any requests that you would like to try it. And from my perspective, what I prepare for you, I will prepare the trial key. I will send you the documentation. As an example, I will send you this PDF document that our Center of Excellence team prepared to enrich the email address. So you can just configure it. You can try to prepare this automation system on your side. We can schedule a brief call, let's say, again, 15, 20 minutes to find out what is the most common use case you have and if we can help you with it. I will share some ideas based on the thousands calls that I had with my customers regarding the API. And yeah, let's see if it could work for you and for your solution, for your customers, for your end users. Yeah, would be happy to help. So yeah, feel free. I will check the Q&A chat and in our chat in general. Let me know if you have anything, or maybe I didn't highlight something and you were expecting to hear and to see today. Yeah, feel free. Would be happy to share. Yeah, Mustafa, thank you so much. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for joining the call, our webinar. Yeah. Raymond, thank you so much for your time. Again, feel free to ask maybe some additional questions if you have. I'm in touch, so you can see my contacts. So, Regina, thanks for presentation. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for